Welcome back to another episode of Excuse My Grandma. It's Kim and my co-host,
Grandma Gail.
Grandma, it is our final week of the Palm Beach season. It's our Palm Beach finale episode.
Boo-hoo.
What will you miss about being together?
Well,
here
we'll still
in
be
Florida?
together.
True.
But in Florida,
I mean.
I think I'll miss the sunshine.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that when we get back together in New York City that the sun will be out and it'll be a little bit warmer than it's been. They had a very bad winter. But I think spring is there. I can't wait to see the tulips and the daffodils in the park. So I'm ready to go back. I've had a wonderful, wonderful season here this year.
I feel it's changes your mood a lot when you're in sun versus in cold, for sure. But I also feel like the humidity is not great for hair. So I've been in a slick back every single day of being in Florida. But older people don't do slick back buns.
Well, I think they don't care anymore when you get to a certain age.
But your hair is not frizzy. You just
No, well, I have such straight
hairspray.
hair. I have just such straight hair. Florida doesn't affect me, and neither does New York.
Yeah.
Worst hair for me is when I go to the beach. If I go to the beach, then there's no hair left.
Yeah.
But, that's the least of my worries down here. I don't sit in the sun that much, so I don't, I actually just got a report from my doctor, take more vitamin D, which I said, oh, are you kidding me? And he said, no, you have to, because I guess I used to be in the sun a lot when I played a lot of golf, and I'm not doing that now. So you do need a certain amount of sunlight.
For sure.
But not good for the skin.
Yeah. I'll definitely miss the easy access to your closet. Because even in New York or the Hamptons, I'm not like in your apartment where I could just walk in, have double the options.
But it's all right. I moved all this stuff out of the apartment here. I moved so much of it is going back.
Up.
Yeah, we're packed up and ready to go back next week. So,
there were so many, like, we were packing up, like, vintage items you didn't even not that you didn't know you had it, but you really don't wear a lot of.
No, I don't. And what I've decided to do as a strategy is to leave those items like my very dressy clothes down here, because New York and the Hamptons lifestyle is very casual, much more so than here. Mm-hmm. So a lot of white pants, a lot of beige pants, and black pants
but even
are going
like some
back.
of your vintage jewelry or bags or sweaters like that are 30 years old. A lot of people now, they want all this vintage stuff, and they're like, there's pop-ups around the city with vintage items, or everybody's so into thrifting now. But I just have to go into your closet, which is
I also
really
think
great.
the prices went crazy on most of these items that are the designer clothes, and even in the stores that are knocking them off. I think that's why Amazon was so popular and Walmart with their knockoffs, because people do see.
They're called dupes. That's how the young people call them.
Well, I think people want these items because they see influencers wearing them, but they're certainly not going to pay the money. And in this economy, everybody should sort of scale back, and they're very good copies. So, you know what? Good luck to everybody. I go into my closet and find things I haven't worn, and everything is lightly used. I never really kill anything. It's sort of, I put them away carefully. I stuff them. I put them in bags.
Yeah, no one really talks about the treatment of those items.
Oh, you should. No, I saw something recently with the prices going up. People are going to have to learn how to treat their bags and maintain them.
Like, even you're always so annoyed when you come to my apartment because I don't like stuff my bags.
And you should.
Or keep them in dust bags because I like to see everything displayed.
Yeah, but you know what's in there, or leave the handle out. I really do believe that the bags protect them, and they're so costly. And you know what? People have to take care of their good things.
For sure. Another thing that I guess I'll miss about being here, even though we have lunch and dinner with our family all the time in New York and the Hamptons too, I have more friends in New York than in Florida. True. So like most nights I'm seeing friends. So it's nice here to, if I don't have a plan, I'll just come along with you guys or with mom and dad. But also I'm excited to go back and like have a little bit of a social life.
Well, of course. I mean, you're young. You should be going and doing things in New York.
I mean, do you think that I could live here full time?
I think you could live if you had a partner that you wanted to live with you. Actually, the economy is bursting down here in Florida, wherever you live, whether it be up north or south. I mean, they're really gaining on the north. I think the economy is booming down here, and I think young couples can move down here, live for much less money than they do in the Northeast, especially. The difference is the amount of schools and the quality of the schools. But of course, I think that's getting better here too. So I think it's a great place to start out. It's a wonderful lifestyle. You just have to find the partner who lives down here and who wants to be here.
Did your grandparents never came to Florida, did they?
Yes, they did. They used to stay at the hotel.
Okay.
They never lived here full time. Poppy's parents lived here full time.
So then when they were here, no, but those are your parents.
No. Those
your
were
grandparents?
His grandmother lived here.
Okay.
There was a spa down here, and they lived here 6 months a year.
Oh, wow. Okay. So then when you were here, did you also do dinners with them all the time?
Absolutely.
So that's been happening in our family.
We're a very close family, so it didn't really matter. And I have to tell you, my husband's grandparents were one of the reasons I married him, because I thought they were the most fabulous, wonderful couple together. They were a couple I actually admired, and she was so much fun to be with. I would go to the ballet in New York with her and to the Radio City Music Hall. I mean, she did everything. And they were awfully nice, and they were wonderful to me.
Yeah, it's nice to pass down that value. It's like that's something you
But it was very unusual to have that.
Yeah.
Especially at a grandparent level.
Right.
I mean,
But your relationship with your grandparents, how is that different than with Poppy's?
No, well, my grandparents were terrific, but they didn't include Poppy in their activities, whereas Poppy's grandparents did. We were included in everything because she wanted to be with me.
Yeah, that's
and
so funny.
She loved share, and she would buy stuff for me.
I guess because he never had a sister. So
there was never a girl.
Right.
There was never another girl.
Yeah.
And they all doted on that, and they liked it. She would go to a place and buy me dishes and give me stuff that, I didn't even need at 23, 24
what a great
years
problem
old.
to have.
But she just loved to do it, and she was a collector. So
cool.
She would give it to me rather than give it to
You still have that stuff?
Oh, of course. I have all the dishes and things that she gave. They were gorgeous, but, no one entertains like that anymore. That's a big problem. I tried to give some to your mom, and I gave some to Jeffrey, my son, but they don't even want it. They want white dishes and stuff that's very contemporary, and these were very, very much not.
Yeah. So as I'm finding my own personal aesthetic, I've decided that I want to lean really heavily into those vintage inspired items for home and clothing and whatever. So it's kind of a fun project to find that all again, because it's sort of hard to find.
Don't buy any dishes, because I'm loaded with dishes to give you.
The thing is, I can't really have a dinner party in my apartment because I have one chair.
Well, you have two chairs.
Two chairs.
One you use for your makeup.
Oh, yeah, that's I use it.
You've rearranged your apartment for work and makeup. So
I have a desk chair, and then I have my what's it called? Not dressing table.
You put a dressing table in your bedroom.
No, but what is that called? A vanity.
Vanity.
And with a little stool. So that's not conducive to a dinner party. But I could use mom and dad's house in the summer.
In the country.
Yeah.
And you've done that. You've had a lot of parties out there.
I had one party.
Right. And it was a success.
But I want to do it again. And I've made all these Pinterest boards. You know Pinterest?
No.
It's I'll show you, but I save just photos of inspiration.
Okay.
It's different than Instagram because you can create your own boards, mood boards almost. And I've saved all these hosting things. We'll see if I actually do any of it.
Well, the problem with you is you have the ideas, but then you want someone to do it for you.
That is the problem of my life.
Well, that can't happen.
No, it kind of can.
Well,
I mean, in work,
if you're Martha Stewart and have 400 staff to help you out.
True.
But if you're doing it, then you have to have the ability to put it all together, or recruit a couple of friends who are very good at it. You do have a couple of girlfriends.
I have the vision.
Right.
But even with the party that I did in the Hamptons last summer, I had 2 girls staying with me, and they did the dirty work.
Well, so that's the whole problem.
And same with the fall party.
Well,
I barely touched it.
Well, that's very...
But
you like the idea of it. I think you like the idea more than executing.
I like the act of hosting.
Right.
During the event.
Okay.
So,
That's your
we'll
career.
figure out what happens.
Okay.
Do you remember me ever, when I was younger, begging to stay in Florida longer since I would really only come for like vacation? Was I like, I don't want to leave or not?
No,
really?
I don't think so.
I don't think I did that with anything in life. Like with camp, I always wanted to leave.
You hated camp.
With
We know that.
Like college, I was like ready to go by the end of the year. Like I was never like, I need to stay longer.
Well, I had it only with camp. I really loved camp. I mean, my camp was very different than yours. And I used to cry at the end of every summer. And I think I was there I know I was there till I was 15. So, but that was the only time. College, I was ready to leave after my freshman year. I mean, I left after my sophomore year and went to a different university to finish off. But I wasn't that attached to anything either.
The only thing I would
my
say...
family is the only thing I really got attached to.
Yeah, that's fair. The only thing I would say is like not wanting to leave the weather, like being like,
that's later on. I never minded the cold weather when I was young. I used to dress up in a warm coat, a scarf, and some gloves, and it was great. And there was so much to do in the city.
Yeah,
much more than down here. Now, of course, you've got Kravis, you have the ballet, you have so much more here now for young families.
But I feel like when I was only here for like, let's say Christmas vacation, I would want to spend every single day at the beach versus now I'm like, I'm here enough time that it's like, it's okay to do something other than sit out.
Well, you're a sort of a semi-snowbird. You're not really a complete snowbird.
I go back
you're not right. You're not here over 6 months.
Yeah. I wonder if there's like another bird that I can be.
I hope it's not a dead bird.
Same.
Could be those big birds that are on your mother's terrace, those turkey vultures.
Those are so odd.
I know. I've never seen them except in Florida. They are really one of the ugliest birds, and their wingspan goes out to like 4 or 5 feet. And I think there's certain times of the year when they're mating, I guess. They're very aggressive and they come over
I can't even think of the turkey vultures mating. I haven't thought about that and I don't want to think about it.
Okay. Well, I must say they are scary.
The puppy gets scared though.
Yeah, well, anybody gets scared of those birds.
Yeah. I don't know, and then I don't know how to get rid of those.
I don't think you can.
Yeah.
They're in their natural habitat. They don't know why we're here.
Speaking of full-time Florida residents, I was scrolling on social earlier and Bethany Frankel said she is moving to Florida full-time.
Miami. I think she's in Miami. And I see her constantly posting
Yeah, but she said she decided that she's going to be there full-time, both for...
Well, her daughter's going to college.
Oh,
and I think that was the reason. She's an empty nester now.
Okay.
I mean, since I'm listening, watching all these things on my Instagram, so I do know that.
Yeah. She said, for personal and professional reasons, it makes more sense to be in Florida, which is interesting. But
there's plenty to do down here. I mean, there's not a lack of stuff.
But she's really relevant in the...
Well, she could be really relevant here. There's the
she decided
it's a big city. Miami, where she is certainly a big city.
Right, and then, Alex Earl is literally from Miami and started her whole career there, and she's arguably the biggest TikToker, but... she also is constantly in LA and New York. So I guess you still have to travel, but it's interesting that that's her home base. And she said she's keeping the city in the Hamptons. Yeah,
well, she'll keep it because she's going to keep it for her daughter.
Anything else you're excited to do when we get back to New York? I mean, we have your birthday, Poppy's birthday, and Mom's birthday
We have a couple of big birthdays coming up. Big birthdays. Mine isn't a big birthday, but I love birthdays because the alternative is not very good. We're going to go to fun places, I hope. And no, I'm not really. I'm looking forward to going back to the theater, which I love. And I didn't do much of that down here because my husband had a knee operation and he couldn't sit. And I didn't really feel like leaving him during that period of time. So his ability to sit was about an hour. So it didn't work when we went to Kravis or the ballet. So, but that I'm going to do, and I'll do it with my girlfriends in the city. It's just fine. He's now able to walk around the place, so he's independent.
For your birthday, we didn't really make a plan though.
Yeah, but I think I want to go to your new club.
Right, for lunch. We're going to do that
for lunch.
For sure.
I know we're having a big dinner. In our family, for those who don't know, my birthday is one day. The next, had my daughter, my oldest child, the next day, and my husband's birthday was the following day. So we have 3 birthdays in between. We sort of made a deal. We can't celebrate 3 big nights in a row at the restaurants.
With the same group.
Well, we can't find new people. Yeah. There are no new people coming into the group.
Yeah.
So I think that I'm going to just do lunch with you and Mom.
Yeah.
I think that works.
Well, that'll be
just
fun.
a little
like
lunch.
A downtown day.
Yeah, a downtown. Fine, maybe we'll go over to the Whitney and see what show is over there. I just got my card, my renewal card in the mail, so I'm excited about that. We'll do that whole West Village and meatpacking area.
Okay. What do you want for your birthday?
Absolutely nothing. Peace on earth.
Okay.
I don't want a thing. I don't want anything. First of all,
if
the economy keeps going down like this, I'm going to have to sell my vintage stuff very quickly.
Yeah.
So no, I don't want anything material. I just want everybody to be together and have fun.
What about if you could have like an experience or a trip or something?
Well, I'm still hoping that I go to Israel in June. We're working on that. So we'll see.
That would be cool.
That's the only place I really want to go.
For birthday celebrations, I feel like a question we get a lot for like more mature places to have birthday dinners.
Oh, well, there's so many. First of all, there's so many new restaurants. Le Veau d'Or was written up today in the paper, which is was an old restaurant, an old really restaurant that was in New York forever. And it has been reinvented by 2 wonderful chefs. And the review was fabulous in the paper. Again, very costly.
Yeah.
Again, for a bistro.
Yeah.
This is what's going on, and this is what makes it sad. All these restaurants are so out of the sight for just a normal dinner. You have to almost make it for a special occasion because dinner alone could be well over $300 for 2 people without an expensive wine.
By the way, I haven't been to that restaurant, but do you know what that means in French?
Le Veau d'Or?
Yeah.
The Veau d'Or is a calf, I believe.
I asked ChatGPT because someone had
what is it?
The golden calf, but I think it actually means like worshiping money, like the biblical.
Oh, really? Goes back to sacrificial?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if they have that in mind. They just adapted it from, and it's in the same location where it always was, on 60th Street.
I've never heard of this place until
Well, it reopened.
recently.
It had been closed for about 10 years.
There's also La Tête d'Or that I've heard of.
La Tête d'Or, downtown.
The Balloon restaurant.
Right, which is where I was hoping that Poppy would have his birthday because he's got a big birthday celebration.
Oh, I thought it was the other place.
No, that's where I think he wants to go.
Oh, okay. My Zach's parents just had their anniversary dinner there.
Did they like it?
And they loved it.
Okay, good.
They said it was like
the problem is that they don't want to take big parties unless you go into a private room. This is the big issue.
Right, because we're we're
still working on it.
Yeah. What if you're younger? Any fun places? I feel like we always used to go to like Dylan's Candy Bar and all.
But I don't even think those. Well, Serendipity is still around. I know somebody recently that took their grandchildren there. That's still we went recently. You and I, this fall.
Yeah.
And the
great hot dog.
And the hot dog was great, and the hot chocolate, the frozen hot chocolate, still terrific.
Will you miss the hot dog at the Breakers?
I'll miss the hot dog there, but we have a very good hot dog out in the Hamptons too that I eat.
Which?
At the golf club where I go for lunch.
Oh.
It's very delicious. I actually think their hot dogs are the best. I don't know where they get it from. But
probably the most processed one. Because I feel like you like when it's like Nathan.
Well, hot dogs are hot dogs. Nothing in it is natural. It's all full of sulfites and everything you can imagine.
Yeah. I'll be excited to go back to New York to record in our studio.
Oh, I like this room better than that studio.
Well,
I like the studio, but my problem is to get there takes me 40 minutes. You're a little closer, so I'll be looking forward to being back in New York. I'm not sure. I'm 100% looking forward to that ride downtown on 9th Avenue.
Okay,
I have to figure the right time of day and the traffic. But you're saying the traffic got much better, and I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
When we go back.
It'll be just as bad, I'm sure.
Probably. Okay, let's move on to the drama club. This week we're going to talk about Coachella. I've wanted to first ask about what music festivals were like back in the day. I know you never went to like Woodstock or anything like
No,
that.
my brother went. No, I was too. I was too old already to go to those. There might have been ones, but the big one in the '60s was Woodstock,
Yeah.
and I was already married. So
because that was like '70s flower power.
well, it was in the
Energy.
'60s, but
Oh,
it was
60s, okay.
but it was in the '60s. It was a rebellion against Vietnam, and it was actually the emergence of the Beatles and all that stuff. You know, we've had controversies in every generation. Young people will always, stand up to different people in power, and it always ends up fizzling out, and everybody ends up getting along. But at that particular moment, you think it's the end of the world.
It's also interesting that Woodstock has the like context of rebellion.
Yeah.
Like Coachella is not about that
No.
at all. Like it's purely just a music
Well, I think
festival.
the stars are bigger now. You know, the people who went up to Woodstock were big names, but not the humongous names that now Lady Gaga goes to Coachella and those kind of
she
people. You know,
performed.
do they are they paid for that, or does this go to charity, or how does Coachella work?
No.
Is it for profit?
I don't know, but they definitely get
For profit?
paid. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So they get parts of the ticket sales, I gather.
I guess so.
Okay.
How
Or
any
their
concert
sponsors.
works, I'm not sure.
Right,
but
I'm not sure
I don't.
either.
It doesn't.
But they don't do it for charity. They're not doing it for
No.
like Live Aid or, like Michael Jackson
no,
did.
no. It's
this
just
is
a music
for profit.
festival. You know what's
Okay.
interesting is like
They should really.
So now it's basically in the last few years become really relevant again because all the influencers are going and all of the brands like bring them out and have them come to like their tent,
Right.
and it's like really an in-person community moment for these brands and their influencers. There was like a stat that I found that 60% of the general admission ticket buyers at Coachella actually use the festival's payment plan because it's so expensive to go. So they're like paying in increments just to like go to this festival.
Well, I'm not for this. I'm very much against this.
Going to music festivals?
No, not
Oh.
going to music festivals. The cost of these music festivals,
Yeah.
and especially now that you tell me it's for profit only, I think it's outrageous. I think that
I think so. Like,
I'm sure you know. I'm
Yeah.
sure that's correct. And I think that a portion of these big performances should go to some kind of charity somewhere where there's so many hungry people and starving people. These people don't need any more billions in their pocketbook. I feel that way about a lot of things. I think Taylor Swift should be giving part of her those billions of dollars she got to some kind of charity that she's
but like,
involved
so
in.
if you're successful, you have to give your.
I think a percentage. Yeah. I think a percentage, we do it, and we're not in that big league. We give a percentage of ours to charity, and we work hard for the charities, and we always mention it. I don't hear any of those big names talking about it, and I think they should stand up and talk.
Yeah. Also, like there's different levels of tickets and a
I'm
lot of them
sure.
sell out. But I was like, if I ever were to go, I think I'd really only want to go like, I don't love being in the crowds and all of that. And there's like artist pass and VIP pass.
Okay.
Guess how much those are?
Kimberly, I have.
Upwards of $12,000 a ticket.
Well, I think that's obscene. I
Like,
really do.
Who is paying that to
Well,
go?
people go look at a ticket to a Broadway show now can be almost $300. Some of
But
Hamilton is
$12,000 is
$800.
wild.
Well, it's just it's going to stop because a bubble will burst as it does in all the time. If they will come down, and for those look at the sporting events that happen and people that went to the Masters,
Right.
in
But
Augusta
you can't
last
even
week.
buy a ticket to that.
No, you have to be invited.
Yeah.
You have to be a patron and know somebody who's either involved or you live in Augusta. I think those things are fun, and they kept the prices of the food to $1.50 the way it was in the when the
Yeah,
thing
that's cool.
started. And I think some of that is wonderful. I just think ticket gouging and the profits that these people make are just they're out of sight. And ordinary people. I'm not talking about the 1,000 people that might have gone to this Coachella, but ordinary people can't even get a grip on what this costs. And I think it's too much. I think we've gone a little over the edge now.
I think young people like just want to like dance and have fun and go to these
They
concerts.
could do that, and they could do that at a lower price.
Probably. But also, I don't even know how fun it is because like Alex Earl, obviously I was like following her the whole like, she was posting so much Coachella content, and she was at Lady Gaga, and she like scanned the crowd. She's like, why am I the only one dancing? Everyone was just standing there like videotaping
Well, they probably
her and
wanted
watching.
to listen to her also.
I know, but how do you not like dance?
I don't know.
So it's also like, how fun really is it? Also, I feel like everyone went that first weekend, and there's enough like this weekend, or we're recording it, so it'll be a few days ago, but there is weekend too. Like, I wonder who go. I bet that's cheaper.
Oh, I think people go the whole time.
Yeah.
It's probably just a difference in ticket price.
Right. Do you think there's like an age cutoff of when it's acceptable to go to Coachella?
I think it could go in any age if you're into music and you love it,
Right.
and if you can afford it, go. I mean,
Yeah.
I wouldn't
It does
go.
seem young.
I wouldn't go if they gave it to me for nothing. So don't worry. Nobody has to send me a ticket. I'm not going.
Yeah. I think I would go.
Unless Frank Sinatra was back singing.
Yeah. I don't know if that's his vibe.
I don't think that's going to happen.
But I think I would go. I just think it does seem overwhelming. I don't know. But like, it was funny also because Alex Earl, she went to speak at Harvard the next day. So she went from this like party weekend and then got on a plane and went straight to speak at Harvard. Okay, for the Grandma Report, our article this week is from time.com and is talking about the silver lining of dating in a recession. So,
Well, we're not in a recession yet.
okay,
They're threatening one.
right. So with economic downturns, like the potential recession,
Right.
I think dating habits are being shaped differently with these rising costs. The article said that dates average $168.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are moving away from expensive outings and toward budget-friendly activities. And like in the 2008 recession, people, like historical patterns show there was increased creativity in dating. People were cooking at home. They were going to free events. So it actually, what they're saying is the silver lining is that it could like create more meaningful experiences over just lavish spending.
I don't know. I think, first of all, the economy affects everyone's life, not only people who are dating. Nobody wants to go out to a restaurant where they're going to spend half of their salary on one dinner. So I think that affects everyone. I think, unfortunately, we don't know how the whole thing with tariffs is going to go 6 months from now. We don't know if there's going to be a recession. We don't know all that stuff. It's very much up in the sky for the next 90 days.
So do you just live normally?
No, I don't think you should live normally. I think, and I said this to you personally the other day, I think now's the time to put a little bit away for a rainy day. I think people can take, instead of spending every part of their salary that they're getting on themselves, I would take a third of it that isn't being spent on rent and on just normal everyday activities. I would put it into a little bank account and let the interest grow, because you don't know what's going to happen in a year. And, if China does some things that are going to cause issues here, we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So I think, my mother was right. You always have to put something away for a rainy day. And that's a very good philosophy, no matter where you are in your life, or no matter what age you are in your life. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow for anybody. Everyone has a 401k, and we don't know how that's going to get affected if the market goes down terribly. So this is the time to be a little conservative. You don't need that extra sweater. You don't need those truffles from the market to put on your pasta. Control yourself, put a little bit into your savings account.
Yeah.
I really think that's an important lesson.
I don't know if I've done that yet, but I will start.
I think I told you a couple of
way.
weeks ago, everybody has to start doing it. It's something that people should do.
I also think with the dating lens, like people want to go to a trendy restaurant and things like that. So
Okay.
obviously,
Or go to a pizza place.
or like
Don't
maybe
have that
you go
extra
out less
special.
often, but you're going to those trendy
you don't
restaurants. Like
have to-
obviously, it depends on your situation,
Right.
But I wonder if like people, especially who aren't in relationships and who are dating for the first dates and stuff, if somebody chose a date that was like a free event, I feel like it would seem low effort.
Oh, I don't know if it's low effort. You have to be truthful. I think now dating when you're older is a whole different story. Are we talking about 20-year-olds? 20-year-olds can't afford these places. So they have to either go to a pizza place, which is still not cheap anymore, and have a soda, or a little upscale pizza Italian restaurant, or a Chinese restaurant.
Is probably necessary. Like, you can't just walk into like a grab a slice. Like, you have to sit down at a table.
Yes, but there are places that you can still go that are reasonable. I don't think you have to go to the name brands, and that's fine. There's so, especially in a big city. If you're in a small town and you only have 2 restaurants, then you have to decide, you know, where am I going to save? Should I go to the diner, or should I go to the more lavish one? And how much can I spend in each place? So I think you have to sit down and think about it. You have a pocketbook, you have a salary, or even if you're working on your own, you know how much you can afford, and you have to be realistic. Because, you know, we've been living in a time where people have not been realistic. Young people are very much into themselves and into self-gratification, much more than they used to be, because they're not really getting married as young as they used to. So now when you're thinking about yourselves and what you're spending, you have to think about maybe putting a little bit away for tomorrow.
Okay, let's move on to the rewind. What are we watching on TV?
Oh gosh.
I just finished Love is Blind.
Did you? I saw that. That was on Netflix.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. It's when they like date through a wall, and the whole question is like, can you make an emotional connection without ever seeing somebody? And then they have like 4 weeks if they decide to propose in the pods to then date in the real world, and then they do a wedding.
Did anything actually come out of that?
One couple went through with the wedding, like said yes at the altar. The other ones the other 3 at the altar said no.
Well, that's very much like The Bachelorette and The Bachelor.
Similar dating show, but it's a little different.
Right.
And I'm always like,
makes good TV.
It does make good TV. It gets addicting. So that was fun to watch.
Fun.
Then there's these 2 shows that I started, but I don't know if I want to finish them. Dying for Sex with Michelle Williams.
Okay.
And Your Friends and Neighbors with John Hamm.
Oh, I love him.
Yeah, that one's actually good. I'm going to finish that one. Basically, the concept is like he gets fired and he lives in like a really fancy suburb, and he decides to like steal from his neighbors.
Oh gosh.
And
this is like the people stealing people's UPS packages off their front porch. I was thinking we should talk about the women that went up in Bezos's space thing for 7 minutes and came down. I mean, I'm not sure if that's really space travel. It's just going up high. Well, yes, it is. I guess.
I guess space. But there was so much controversy around this.
I thought it was pretty silly, to be very truthful. I watched it. I watched the whole thing. I watched them land. I thought it was not exactly a cross-section of women in America, which a little annoying. I have to say, I'm getting a little annoyed. Why wasn't it an all-women flight? He made an all-women flight, but it was all friends. It was a friend group. It was like if you took 8 friends.
It was like just A-list celebrities.
Yeah, but
Gail
who cares?
King and Katy Perry.
I would have liked to have seen somebody from Wisconsin, from Florida, from
they're not paying
Arizona.
For it. Did the celebrities pay for it?
No, nobody paid for it.
Oh, I thought they paid for it.
No, Bezos paid for it.
Oh.
No, I don't think any of them paid for it.
I don't know. People were like,
who cared?
Not who cares, but I think they were like, why are these like wealthy celebrities?
I agree.
But I didn't like how some like brands were really mean. Like Wendy's was like, can we just leave Katy Perry in space?
Well, I think because she made a comment when she got off that people got annoyed with. This is what I've been saying, and it's Grandma's platform, so I can say it. They're not getting who people identify with. Can't identify with Katy Perry. I mean,
obviously enough people do. If she has
some teacher in Oklahoma on that space thing. Put me on there.
Her girlfriend
put
was
you
on
there. Well, Bezos' girlfriend's going on. There's no question. That was justifiable. Yeah. It's his girlfriend. Fine. It's his ship. He's paying for it.
Yeah.
But the other girls, who cares about them?
Makes for a TV moment. Oprah's watching.
But I thought there was a backlash, and I agree with. Yeah.
I mean, I wonder if I'm sure a lot of other big companies are gonna take that.
Well, not too many companies have spaceships.
No, but whatever their big launches are, maybe they'll think differently.
Well, they think differently. Get an ordinary person up there. That's why so many people identified with the two astronauts who were up there. It was a father, a mother. I mean,
Right.
they are astronauts, so they were professionals, but they were likable people.
Emily Ratajkowski was like, it's disgusting these celebrities would
The
support
celebrities. Bezos?
Bezos.
Oh, well, then they don't like Amazon. They're
I
not
guess
like us.
not.
We love Amazon.
Yeah,
we
I don't
really
know.
love Amazon. That's why I think he should have called me up and had me on the space shuttle.
Okay, maybe.
Okay.
You would go
I would have gone.
to space?
It's only 7 miles up. They didn't go that far.
Yeah,
It
but
wasn't like they went to
it
the
could blow
space
up.
station. Well, it could have blown up, but I don't think not if his girlfriend was on it. It
Yeah.
wasn't going to blow up.
I guess. That's funny. Okay, let's do Grandma Gail's voicemail. We have an email someone wrote in and then a voice message. So let's do the email first. Also, remember, guys, you can always email us at team@excusemygrandma.com or send us a voice memo on our hotline. We have it linked on our Instagram all the time. Okay, or DM us. The email says, "Hey Kim, I hope you and your family had a nice Passover. I want to know Grandma's thoughts on this one. I've been dating the same guy about 2 months, 11 dates. Yes, keep notes. We don't talk and text that much between dates, but we usually have our next date on the calendar. A lot of my friends who have no kids think he's not that interested. If he was, he would be texting and calling more often. He's 51, I'm 46, and we aren't in a rush to get married or move in together. I wish he showed more interest, but my mother, who's 74 and almost as opinionated as Grandma, thinks I'm being a baby and I should be happy we can spend time together when we can. And according to my mom, who looked through my dating apps, he's the best match for me by far. Thoughts?"
Well, I actually agree with the mother. I mean, 11 dates is a lot in a couple of months. It's in 2 months, so that's 5 dates or 5.5 dates
Wait,
a
but
month.
I've been on like
So it's
11
one
dates
date
and
a
you were
week.
like, that's not that much, like you're just getting to know someone.
Well, no, I was going to say I think it's all right. I
Yeah.
don't think I think that it's part of learning. You're adults. You're not kids. You're both mature adults, and I think that the idea that he doesn't text is fine with me. But he could pick up his cell. He's on his phone, I'm sure, during the day. It wouldn't be so terrible if he called a couple of times
But are
a week.
51-year-olds texters?
Well, I don't know. There were no texting when I was 51. There's certainly no. We all text now.
Yeah.
But I don't think we have to text when we brush our hair, like you guys do. And you put on a
But
new
if they don't
lipstick.
talk at all between dates.
I think that's a little strange.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't push it. It's only 2 months. Give the guy some space. He's mature. Maybe he's feeling his way through. He's evidently still interested. And then
Right.
I think by the 3rd month, if there are no calls in between dates, I would start to get a little
Also,
nervous.
can't she text him and be like, how's your day going?
Well, that almost looks like you're
After 11 dates, you can text someone, how's your day going? Like,
could.
I don't think you always
could,
have
but
to
I also
wait.
think that sounds very needy. But
Or
she could.
how was your day? Whatever. At the end of the day, like,
Okay.
if you go
If she
on
feels
11
like
dates
it,
with
if
someone.
she feels like it,
Right.
If she feels like it,
I-
there's nothing wrong with it.
I think the bottom line is like, if other people are telling you that it's weird, but you don't think it's weird, who cares?
Right.
But if you want to be talking to him more than you are, like, try initiating it.
This goes back, and I think about this very often. We had a matchmaker on when we first did this podcast.
Who was it?
I don't remember. She was
Oh.
very smart. She wrote a book. And she used to say, well,
Demona
first of all,
Hoffman?
maybe that was her name. She came from an Orthodox community, so it's a
Oh,
very
no.
different kind
No.
of dating. They don't date for 2 months
Wait, do you
and
mean the
not
one we
get
just
married.
had on?
No,
Oh.
long time ago. She was an older woman. It doesn't matter who it was, but she said it's very traditional roles. Men like to be the chasers, the initiators of dating. It's the old roles that men really still like. And
But 11 dates. We're
Okay.
not talking about 3 dates.
But there are still men that like to do it themselves and not have a woman hound them. So I think there's a fine line here.
And I also think there's a difference between hounding someone and texting once, how was your day? That's not hounding someone.
Well, okay. But let's see what comes out in the 3rd month.
Okay.
Wait a little bit.
Now we're going to do Grandma Gail's hotline. Here's the voicemail someone sent in.
Hi there. My daughter and I are listening to the episode from March 27th of this year. Great episode, so thank you for that. At the very end, when there are questions with Grandma Gail, Grandma Gail mentions that she does not believe in therapy. And we were just kind of curious as to why not. We find her opinions and her insight very helpful. And we'd love to know, what it is about therapy that maybe Grandma Gail doesn't necessarily agree with. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Okay, so they want to know why you
that.
aren't a proponent of therapy because they listen to all of your advice.
No, and I should clarify that. I am for therapy if you really have serious issues. I myself went through therapy after I had an illness. There are times, if you're going through traumatic times in your life, that I do believe going to a very legitimate therapist can be very helpful. On the other hand, I know that young people today, they're in therapy from the time they're 16 years old. I don't like my exam wasn't good. I didn't have a date for the prom. All of a sudden, there's a therapist on the line. I believe therapy in moderation, if you really have a problem, is very, very helpful. I do not believe therapy to carry on your everyday life and your relationships is good. If you're having so much trouble in your private life, in your relationships, then there's something really basically wrong with that relationship, and I would move on from it. If you can. If you're in a marriage where you need a therapist all the time to deal with this, then you've got issues, and then it's fine. But to call a therapist to say, I can't figure out if I should go to this place or that place, and he's driving me crazy with reservations. I don't know if I want to go to the south of France or I want to go to Miami. Some people, they're abusing the use of a therapist. Every week, therapy is not necessary for people who are in good mental awareness. If you're having some serious issues, absolutely go to either psychiatrist or a therapist. But I'm not for everyday life living through a therapist.
So, I completely disagree on every single level for so many reasons. One, sometimes you want to talk to someone who doesn't have their own agenda or bias. So someone who really is like helping you figure out your best interest, who isn't your mom who you might have the problem with, a friend who might be selfish for some other reason, whatever it is. Second thing is, it's not always, I have a problem, can I fix it? Sometimes it's, this is something I want to do. This is a conversation I want to have. What's the best way to go about this in a way that, I don't know, won't make the other person aggressive, will get my point across. Like, there's so many things I can't even
this
get
is what
into.
your generation does. And
and we're like arguably healthier, right?
I don't think at all. I don't think you're healthier at all.
If you're in therapy, I think you are like in a healthier mental state than like not suffering.
Well, if you're suffering, no question. You should be not even in therapy. You should be seeing an actual psychiatrist to figure out why you're suffering. But just to get on with everyday life and making decisions, you shouldn't have to use a therapist. So, but that's, everybody has their own decision. She's asking me what I feel. That's my opinion. Certainly don't cancel your appointment because of Grandma Gail.
Yeah.
I mean, that's for sure.
Yeah. Okay, let's play Should We Bring It Back? Palm Beach edition. So these are things we used to do in Florida. I was trying to think of more. I'm wondering if we should do it still. The Breakers brunch in the Rotunda room.
I never did that, but
I
you and your
loved
dad
that.
did it because it's too much food all out at once.
It's also so expensive.
I think it's very, very nice if you feel like having a really, it's perfect for Easter Sunday.
Right. That they probably upcharge it even more for Easter.
I have no idea how much they charge because I never would go. I don't really like that kind of breakfast. To me, an English muffin and a cup of coffee, and I know you did. So you know what? Save up and go once in your lifetime. And if you feel like going back, there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah. What about like Lion Country Safari
I love
and those
that.
kind of things?
But I have to go with a child. Nobody my age wants to go for an hour from where I live to go to Lion Country, but it's wonderful.
Yeah. We also used to go to like Disney and Universal all the time in Orlando.
But we've been a million times. So.
But I mean, I guess I just went to Disney in LA, but I'd bring that back.
Yeah, well, you love that. You always like that. I don't want to bring it back.
What about, I know the Chesterfield Hotel.
The old Chesterfield. It's now the Veneta.
Right. Should we bring that back once it's reopening, right?
No, it's not. I don't want to
Oh.
bring back the old one. I'm
Oh.
looking forward to the new one.
What was the
which is
old
good.
one?
Well, the
vibe?
old one was an old hotel that I think had been past its prime, but they had a great bar downstairs. There was a leopard bar.
Yeah.
And it was very exclusive, very dark, and very British looking. And it was a nice place to go for a drink. I did have friends that used to stay there, and we used to go, but it certainly needed a revamp. So I'm looking forward to the new one.
Okay. What about like the society section of the paper? Like,
Well, down here, the whole paper is about what went on the night before. And what I like about it is that most of it is around charity. So
Okay.
it's fine, and I think we should always bring it back. And they do so much good and raise so much money for so many different causes, so that I don't want to stop.
okay.
It's not actual news. It's just how somebody looked and the contributions they made.
Okay, let's do a quick round of Ask Grandma Anything. Everyone wrote these in on Instagram, so if you want your question answered, remember to always respond to those Instagram stories. Okay, first one. Have you ever been ghosted? I guess this is for me.
Yeah, that's
How
definitely for
did
you.
you handle it? For sure. It wasn't all the time, but there were times where I was like, why after a date, I guess he didn't want to go out again because he never followed up, or like,
But that always happens. You just have a term for it now in your
Yeah.
society. People didn't respond and call for an extra
I
date.
don't
It was
think-
just not calling back.
right. I think the proper use of ghosted is like if I then said to someone, "Hi, how are you?" and they just didn't
They
even
don't answer, right.
answer.
It's rude.
And I don't know if that's happened because I think I stopped myself before even getting to that
Okay.
point. But how I handled it, I probably like told all my friends, told you, and was like, "What should I do? They don't like me." And then
and then
moved
you have
on.
to move on.
yeah. Grandma's favorite travel destinations.
Probably still Paris.
Yeah, me too. How old were you when your mom passed, and how did that change your life?
Well, it changed my life drastically. And I was about 67 years old. And it changed my life because my mom and I would talk or probably see each other every day of our lives. We lived across the street from each other, so we would do our own activities, but we would see each other either prior to our going our separate ways in during the day, or we would talk later in the day, and we would have dinner several times a week. So, and I still, of course, I still look up at her from my apartment and still look at her window and think that she's going to call me. So it did alter my life. You know, you never forget your mother or your father. I still think about my father all the time.
I
The
guess-
people you love are not with you anymore, but you certainly don't forget them, especially if you love them.
Yeah, and I think spending time with your own kids and
Right.
grandkids and
It's still not the same. A mother is a mother.
Yeah.
A mother never sees. My mother never saw anything bad in the way I did things. So I was very lucky. Some are very, I guess, judgmental. Mine was not.
do you like matzah?
I love it.
Have you been?
I have
I
a
didn't
crazy
even
thing.
ask.
I eat matzah 12 months out of the year.
Yeah,
The 2 weeks during Passover, I don't like matzah.
I was gonna say, how come I haven't seen you eat matzah?
I
Matzah
do.
bread, like this
I-
week.
I had
Yeah.
it for breakfast. I do eat it in the morning. You know what? I've been trying to cut out bread anyway, so I don't really eat bread. But if somebody offers me a sandwich, I probably would take it.
Wait,
I
you
don't
eat
keep-
sandwiches all the time for
Yeah, but,
lunch. You
well,
only
not-
eat sandwiches.
Yeah, but I sort of stopped it. I only like
What do you
certain
have for
bread.
lunch?
I have like like egg salad or tuna.
On bread, right?
No.
Oh, really? Oh.
No, just the way. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm trying to cut out some of those carbs. It's hard because I love pasta, so I
I
can't
love
limit.
pasta.
I love pasta.
Wait, why this change?
Because I noticed all of a sudden my pants are getting a little tight. So before I go back to New York and have to look really good, here
Yeah.
everything is pull-up pants and a loose shirt. I don't dress like that in New York, so I gotta cut back a little bit on the pasta bit.
Okay, last one. How do you focus time and energy towards dating as a 30-year-old woman? If it's a priority to you and it's something you really want to be doing and you want to be in a relationship, then I think maybe making a promise to yourself, like at least every other week or once a week to go on one date.
Well, I would say you
ask
need
for
to do more.
setups.
Oh, you mean she's dating no one in particular? In other
I
words,
think so.
okay.
Um,
Well, you know what? If she's definitely working, so during the week, if she doesn't have the time or she's exhausted, the weekends come about, and you should make a plan. Either make a plan with friends or make a plan to meet, to go someplace where you might meet people. Go to your church, go to your local church for services. You can go to a synagogue on Friday night. There are all kinds of, go to take dance lessons, do something that you enjoy where you might meet other people your age.
Mm-hmm. Okay, just to close out, what did we learn this winter season?
Stay out of the cold.
You're happy with your decision?
I'm very happy with my decision. I needed a little more fix going back to the city, which I didn't do at all this year, but I think I was very happy.
I was trying to think of what was different this year than the past, and I guess it was the first year I wasn't single during my Palm Beach time. So I guess my priorities were less okay, how can I fit dates in, and more we can get work done, I can do family stuff, which felt nice. Plus though, juggling having to go back and forth more between 3 locations and more travel.
Yeah, you had a lot of frequent flyer things.
Yeah, well, you would think Zach, my boyfriend, he uses one airline so that he gets upgraded on that airline all the time.
Course.
But I never use the same airline.
Oh, we always do. That's how we do it all the time. We don't travel that much now, but we still always usually go on Delta, because Delta then, you build up points. I mean, that's how to travel well.
Okay, well, I got to do that because
you did JetBlue a lot this year.
Yeah, but I had bad experiences.
Oh, all right. Let's not talk about that, because you might want to use that airline again.
Okay. Anyway, it was a great season. Thank you all for listening and following.
Yeah, but come back. We're going to be on, and we'll just be coming from New York.
It'll be coming from New York City, be coming from the Hamptons, and obviously follow us on social media at Excuse My Grandma. And mine is Kim Merstein, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.